Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Free, but not whole. The sad prison release of Savannah Chrisley. The July sun was blazing over Nashville, but inside Savannah Chrisley's heart, a quiet storm brewed, a mix of relief, pain, and sorrow. After months behind bars, the gates of the women's correctional facility opened slowly that morning, and Savannah stepped out, blinking against the light. She was free, technically. But nothing about this day felt like a celebration. Her blonde hair had grown longer, tied in a loose ponytail, and the usual spark that once danced in her eyes had dulled. The vibrant, lively woman that fans of Chrisley knows best once knew had changed, shaped by the suffocating routine of prison, the loss of time, and the weight of grief that never stopped pressing down. There were no cameras, no fanfare, no staged reunion hugs, just silence, and the echo of steel doors closing behind her. Savannah took a deep breath and walked toward the parking lot. Waiting by a modest rental car was her younger brother Grayson. He tried to smile as she approached, but his eyes welled with tears as he threw his arms around her. "You're home," he whispered, his voice cracking. Savannah clung to him, holding back sobs. "I'm out," she corrected gently. "But I'm not home. Not really." The last year had been a nightmare for the Chrisley family. Todd and Julie, Savannah's parents, had been sentenced to lengthy prison terms for financial crimes. Their once perfect Southern family image had crumbled in the eyes of the public. But the real pain wasn't in public humiliation. It was in the separation. Savannah, the eldest daughter, had tried to be strong. When her parents were sentenced, she stepped up to take care of her siblings, especially young Grayson and niece Chloe. She played mom, big sister, and legal guardian, all while filming updates, launching podcast episodes, and holding back her tears in every public appearance. But then came her own arrest, an alleged probation violation related to her ongoing legal troubles stemming from the family's broader case. It was a technicality, she had said, but the law showed no mercy. Prison was a different world, cold, rigid, and full of judgment. Savannah had gone from reality TV darling to inmate number 53,742 in the blink of an eye. The adjustment was brutal. She cried herself to sleep most nights. Letters from Chloe and Grayson kept her sane, but the weight of the guilt, leaving them, failing them, gnawed at her constantly. What haunted her the most, though, was the silence. Her parents were in separate federal prisons, far from each other, and visitation was limited. There were no hugs, no family dinners, no prayers around the kitchen table. Just a splintered family, scattered like broken glass. Back in the car, Grayson drove slowly through familiar streets that now felt foreign to Savannah. "Chloe asked if you were coming home tonight," he said softly. Savannah stared out the window. "She's the only reason I wanted to get out. But I don't want her to see me like this. Not yet." Grayson reached over and squeezed her hand. "She needs you, Sav. We all do." The rest of the ride was quiet. The silence between them wasn't uncomfortable, just heavy with everything they weren't saying. Savannah knew that returning to the outside world meant facing the media, the judgmental public, and most painfully, the absence of her parents. The Chrisley mansion was gone, sold off to help pay fines and legal fees. What remained was a smaller home, cozy, but without the warmth of the past. When they pulled into the driveway, Chloe was waiting at the door. The moment Savannah stepped out, Chloe raced into her arms. "Aunt Sav," she squealed, crying and laughing at once. Savannah knelt and hugged her tightly, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Hey, my baby girl," she whispered. "I prayed for you every night," so much. Chloe said, wiping her tears. "God said you come home." Savannah smiled faintly, brushing hair from Chloe's face. "You're the strongest girl I know." But deep down, Savannah felt far from strong. She was crumbling inside, afraid of how to keep going in a world where everything had changed. The next day, headlines exploded. Savannah Chrisley released from prison. What's next? Chrisley daughter-free, but legal troubles loom. Reality star Savannah Chrisley's emotional homecoming. The media had a field day. Savannah didn't want to speak to reporters, but she knew she had to address the public. For Chloe's sake, for Grayson's, and maybe to find some control over her story. She recorded a short podcast episode from her bedroom. Her voice was shaky but sincere. I know there's been a lot of talk about me, my family, and everything we've been through, she began. And yes, I was released from prison. But I didn't come home to a fairy tale ending. My parents are still behind bars. My little brother is still dealing with trauma. Chloe still asks when her grandma's coming home. And I'm just trying to figure out how to breathe again. There was a long pause. Prison took something from me. Not just time, but peace. I've seen pain in women's eyes that I'll never forget. I've heard stories that broke my heart. I've spent nights curled up on a cold bed, wishing I could turn back time. Her voice cracked. I miss my mom. I miss my dad. And I hate that Chloe has to grow up without them. I hate that Grayson has to be the man of the house. I hate that my mistakes, my family's mistakes, have changed us forever. The episode went viral. Fans poured in with support, but others were cruel, accusing her of playing victim, of avoiding accountability. Savannah didn't reply to the haters. She didn't have the strength. In the following weeks, Savannah tried to settle into a new routine. Therapy sessions, legal meetings, caring for Chloe, supporting Grayson, all while navigating her own trauma. She visited her mom in prison for the first time since her own release. The visit room was cold and sterile. But when Julie walked in, Savannah broke down. Mom, she sobbed, holding her tightly. Julie stroked her daughter's hair. You're okay now. You made it out. But you're still in here, Savannah whispered. And Dad, we're still not a family. Julie nodded, eyes filled with tears. We will be again. Someday. But for now, you have to live. You have to give Chloe the life we wanted for her. Savannah promised she would try, but trying didn't mean healing overnight. Nights were the hardest. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, Savannah often clutched one of her mom's old sweaters. She cried quietly, hoping Chloe wouldn't hear from the next room. She kept the family Bible by her bed and read passages Julie used to quote. But even faith felt distant at times. Savannah's freedom wasn't complete. Her heart was still locked in a cage of grief, guilt, and longing. She missed simple things. Hearing her dad's jokes echo through the house, watching movies with her mom, Sunday pancakes in pajamas. Now, all of it felt like a different life. Each day was a battle, to smile, to parent, to push through. To find a version of herself that could still exist after the collapse of everything she once knew. One evening, she stood in the backyard, watching Chloe chase fireflies. Grayson joined her, sipping from a bottle of soda, quiet beside her. You think things will ever feel normal again? He asked. Savannah sighed. I don't know. Maybe not. But maybe we'll build something new.